Imagine this. In the midst of the dazzling lights of the entertainment world, where every move is captured by cameras and every smile is scrutinized by millions of eyes, two figures quietly protect something far more precious than fame, something that belongs only to them, a bond that feels so pure, so warm, so deeply human. Hello drama lovers, welcome back to K-pop world. Tonight we will dive into a story that has never failed to make hearts tremble. A story about Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, two shining stars who have captured attention not only because of their work, but also because of their closeness, their bond, their connection that continues to leave fans in awe. We all know, ever since the Untamed brought them together, the world has not been the same. Their chemistry on screen was so alive, so breathtaking, that people couldn't stop talking about them. But behind the cheers of fans, behind the flashing lights of red carpets, behind the roar of concert stages, lies something small, something hidden, something no one expected. Yes, recently, another surprising truth was revealed. It turns out that Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan have a secret way of staying connected. Not through loud declarations, not through public appearances, but through something much more intimate, much more touching. They share their days, their stories through video calls. At first, it may sound simple, almost ordinary. But for them, for two stars living under constant pressure, video calls become a lifeline, a fragile thread that keeps them close even when the world tries to push them apart. Picture this late at night, when the city has fallen asleep. Wang Yibo, tired after hours of racing practice or filming, unlocks his phone. With one press of a button, the screen lights up, and there he is, Xiao Zhan, smiling through his own exhaustion. They talk, they laugh, they ask simple questions. Have you eaten? Questions that may sound ordinary to us, but for them, it means everything. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that touching? And so, what fans once only imagined has now been whispered as truth. Rumors began to spread that sometimes they schedule their video calls, making sure to catch each other even for a few minutes. Other times, the calls happen spontaneously, a random check-in, a sudden laugh, a moment of warmth. Something so small, yet so priceless. Fans, of course, could not stay silent. The internet flooded with reactions. "This is true friendship," one wrote. "No wonder their chemistry feels so real. They're close in real life too," said another. And soon, fan art began to circulate. Edits of glowing screens, sketches of laughter across two phones, artworks portraying what every fan now dreams of. Yibo and Xiao Zhan smiling at each other through a glowing call. But beyond the sweetness lies something deeply emotional. Because we all know how difficult the entertainment industry can be, especially in China. Rumors spread like wildfire. Controversies arise without warning. And sometimes, silence becomes their only defense. Yet in the middle of all that noise, they still choose to hold on to something quiet, something tender, something unshakable, each other. Imagine how lonely it can be when schedules pull them to different places, different sets, even different countries. Days go by without seeing each other face to face. Yet with one call, with one glowing screen, the distance melts away. Isn't it ironic that in such a vast, overwhelming world, a tiny rectangle of light becomes their bridge, their comfort, their proof that they are not alone? This is what keeps their bond alive. This is what makes fans believe again and again that there is something real between them, something that cannot be destroyed by gossip, something that remains strong even when the world tries to question it. And perhaps this is why their relationship feels so genuine, so rare, so unforgettable. Because it isn't built on grand gestures, but on small, quiet moments. A soft laugh at midnight. A question that begins with, "How are you?" A silence that feels safe, even through a phone screen. For fans, the discovery of these video calls became more than just news. It became proof. Proof that even in the midst of pressure, fame, and chaos, friendship, or perhaps something more, can survive. Proof that sincerity does not need to be shown in public to be felt by millions. The reactions grew louder. Some fans admitted to crying when they heard about it. Not because it was sad, but because it was so human. Because behind the glamorous faces of stars, they saw themselves. Two people, tired, vulnerable, yet still finding comfort in each other's company. Isn't that what we all want? Someone to listen, someone to laugh with, someone who understands without needing too many words. And for Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, they found it in each other. So what does this mean? Is it only friendship? Or is it something deeper? That question will always echo in the hearts of fans. But perhaps the answer doesn't matter. Perhaps what truly matters is that we can all see, feel the sincerity they share. Because isn't it true? Real connections cannot be faked. Warmth cannot be acted. Comfort cannot be staged. What they have is felt not only by them, but by everyone who watches. Every new piece of news about their closeness only reminds us again and again, behind the stage lights, behind the fame, behind the crafted image, they are just two people. Two people who want to laugh together, cry together, share stories together, support each other. And maybe that is what makes their story so unforgettable. This is why their bond seems unshakable. Not because it's loud or grand, but because it's quiet, because it's simple, because it's real. And that's why it touches so many hearts. Fans around the world take inspiration from this. They see that closeness doesn't always mean physical presence. Sometimes it's just knowing that someone is there. Sometimes it's a glowing screen, a soft laugh, a question as simple as, "Did you sleep well?" That is what makes this story unforgettable. That is what makes their bond so beautiful. And in the end, isn't this why we've all fallen in love with their journey? Because in a world that can be so harsh, so demanding, so cruel, there still exists a space for something gentle, something pure, something that feels like home. Unexpected, yes. Sweet, beyond words, and yet so real. So what do you think, drama lovers? Do you believe this quiet habit of video calls reveals something even deeper? Or is it proof that true friendship is already enough to survive in such a storm? Share your thoughts, because stories like this remind us all of the beauty of connection. After all, sometimes it is the quietest moments that speak the loudest.